When you first start becoming a dungeon master, start planning out your missions and stories, you have wonderful tales to tell, wonderful places to create. And you're going to have some really creative combats and encounters you want to put together too. Which is why you'll probably get surprised when the players either manage to outthink you, or worse yet, just outpower you. Let's face it, Wizards of the Coast wanted the players to feel really powerful in Dungeons & Dragons, so they did their best to try and nerf the Dungeon Master. Fortunately, we're in control of the game, not them. With that in mind, we're going to teach you a very basic concept today. Something that will be a force multiplier for even the smallest and weakest monsters. Tactics. So your players are probably used to using their powers and combos and things like that. They've probably been told 1,000 ways how to use their powers to their best ability. They've watched YouTube videos and they've studied up, and they're ready for you. So it's time to get ready for them too. Understand where the strengths and weaknesses of the powers are, where you can draw them in so that they lose their advantages, and how you can cut them off from being able to use those traits they want to use. And how you can even give them a couple surprise shots to the gut that even they won't expect. With that, let's talk to General Mug, the chief of the Blackheart Gobos, a goblin cave near the Elven Wood.
I am General Mug, first general of King Ironbelly, and hero of the Wounded Deer. It was only a few days ago when this tale unfolds, so pay attention. I only tell you this once. Ironbelly, our chief, he comes to General Mug and says he wants to fight elves, but he does not want to go in the woods. Ironbelly is smart. He says, General Mug, go to Elven Woods, cause trouble, bring elves back here. We fight them down here in caves where we have advantage. Ironbelly is also smart. Fighting elves in the trees is stupid. Elves are everywhere. They shoot arrows. They kill you fast. You will never know where they are, and they move very quickly. General Mug thinks Ironbelly has a very good plan, then realizes that General Mug is going to die. Ironbelly is very smart. General Mug, realizing he is going to die, begs for as many men he can take with him and possibly save General Mug's life. But Ironbelly is very, very smart, and he gives General Mug almost no men. Only a dozen gobos at best. With that, Ironbelly tells General Mug go choose gobos and leave. General Mug knows Ironbelly cannot count, so he takes twice as many, because General Mug is very smart. With that, we go to woods. General Mug is disappointed. He knows soon he is going to die. And then I see something. There, trapped in the trees, are some antlers. They've been cut with a saw. Then General Mug remembers the elves. They love the deer. They protect them. When the deer get caught in the trees, the elves will go out. If they can, they will part the trees to let the deer out. And when they can't, they will saw the deer's antlers off, so at least they will not die. General Mug has an idea. He will not go into the woods. He will bring the elves out of the woods, where General Mug can ambush and kill them. General Mug is very smart. With that, I look around, keeping far away from the woods. You don't want to get too close. You get too close, the elves can shoot you. So I stay on a bow range. There, about 200 paces or so, I found a hilltop. At the edge of the woods, too far away to be in easy range, but close enough that if General Mug can get the elves in, they will be in his bow range. This is my plan. First, we must make sure there is no place for the elves to hide between us and the hill. So I send them out to clear a few bushes here and there. Bring them up to the top of the hill. We'll put those without bushes on top of the hill. Next, I want to make sure the elves never really get to us. General Mug is going to put a distraction between the elves' woods and the top of the hill. He's going to draw the elves into that point where they're in the point and they're in the best part for us to shoot them. But General Mug doesn't want to get so close they can charge up to where we are. So, once the area is cleared of extra brush, I have my gobos go out. Near the top of the hills, we hide spikes, lots of them, backwards facing. If the elves charge us, they run into spikes. Next, bushes are cover. Cover is good. They cannot see you in cover. It prevents them from shooting you easily, but does not prevent them from shooting you at all. So I had them dig pits between us and where the distraction is going to go. But bring the dirt up to the top of the hill. There we build earth walls. Why earth walls? Because while you can shoot through a bush, you can't shoot the dirt. This is smart. If the elves try to shoot back at General Mug, they will shoot into the earth walls. They will never know they are not hitting us. Why? Because we are behind the bushes. We can shoot them all day, but they cannot shoot us. General Mug is smart. Finally, we need to go. You ask, why are you digging pits, General Mug? There are two reasons. One, I want pits between me and them. We already have spikes, but let's put some pits as well. Why? Falling into a pit is almost as good as just falling on spikes. In fact, it's better on falling on spikes when you're falling into a pit too, because you will put spikes in pits. Next, we have to find a distraction. See General Mug's idea. Why do we dig pits? Because we were digging a very particular pit. A trap pit for a deer. The deer will be our distraction. General Mug has his men go out and get some supplies. There's a farm not too far away. So, Gobos in the middle of the night sneak in, they steal important things. Clothing, tools, a cooking pot, and most importantly, grain. Grain meant for the animals, but more importantly, meant for our deer. Once they have the grain, we are set. Using those things they stole from the farmers, I have my Gobos make a false camp. Looks just like a hunter's camp. At least from a distance, it's good enough. Then we dig a pit. In that pit, we put lots of grain, lots of things to draw the deer in. And then we make deer sounds. Clack antlers together, that sort of thing. Get the deer to come our way. Elves will never notice it, it's just more deer. But the deer, they will notice it, they will come to us. And one does. It does not take too long before a deer comes to us and he falls into the pit. It is perfect. Now we are prepared. General Mug brings his men together and gives his orders. He is spreading them out. 3 different groups, 3 different locations. Why? Because elves are tricky. Elves have magic. Magic is bad. General Gub hates magic. We are far enough away so that they cannot easily use magic without coming out of trees. But not so far away they cannot use spells once they are in the field. So, General Gub separates his men so they cannot get us all with one spell. This is important. Next, General Gub tells them to watch out for mages. Anyone carrying a wand, anyone carrying a staff, they die first. More importantly, if they see an animal, kill the animal right away. Why? Because wizards use animals. They are very important to wizards. Sometimes they are the wizard, who knows? Kill animal first. The point is, if there is fight, no animal should be there. They will run away. So, kill animals first. Kill wizards first. Most important rule. General Gub makes sure that this gets carried out by having Gobos draw stones. Half the Gobos are on duty just to kill wizards first. Everyone else can shoot anyone who is close, but the ones with stones must shoot the wizard always. This is very important and very fun. Now, we are ready. I have my men light the small campfire by the makeshift camp, and we blow some hunting horns. And then we wait. It takes a little bit, so we blow some hunting horns again. Still waiting. Finally, a gobble goes up. It makes lots of noise. That does it. He barely gets back before we see elves poking around the edges of the woods. And then I see something. A bird. A bird flies out. It lands right next to the pit. This is very interesting. Birds are not interested in deer, but this one seems very interested. General Mug realizes he's a wizard, or there's a wizard nearby. Signals his men to hold their fire, but to aim. Sure enough, elves begin to appear, 3 of them. And then, a wolf. General Mug is waiting for them to approach the camp. And then, disaster. The wolf turns into a woman. How many wizards do they have? This is not good. General Mug will do what he can. He waits till they are close. Very, very close. And with that, he gives the order. The arrows fly. They fly everywhere. Bird is killed almost instantly. Wolf woman is hit so many times that she falls to the ground and screams. It is not fair. It is ambush. Of course it is not fair. Where are you from? Arrows keep flying though. Who cares if they think it is fair? It is fight. It is ambush. General Mug is going to kill them. With that, arrows keep flying. Sure enough, one elf jumps in peeper cover. Crack! I did not think of that. I should have thought of that. Does not matter now. Other elf begins to charge up the hill at us. Runs right into the spikes. He is funny. General Mug makes sure to put many arrows in him. Meanwhile, another woman runs over to help Wolf Woman. She is carrying one, so they start shooting arrows at her. But they stop shooting arrows to Wolf Woman. No! Always finish the mage off first. Kill the mage. But they do not kill the mage. Both are seriously injured, but they are not killed. This is not good. Meanwhile, The final one in the pit, he picks his head up and he starts firing arrows everywhere. It seems like the sky is filled with arrows. They are flying all around us. But they fly right into the dirt, hindered, because that is why it is there. Still, General Mug blew at least one hand of gobbles from this crack. This crack sucks. I hate this crack. If I see him again, I kill him first. Meanwhile, gobbles continue to fire, keep shooting. Especially at the one who is nearest to us. Always to shoot the closest person first. I wish they had finished off the mages, but this is good enough. The one that is nearest to us, he dies. Good! The one who is in the pit, he is forced to take cover. The last two women, that is where things get interesting. Wolf woman goes into a bird and tries to fly. That does not work out well for her. We kill birds all the time. Other woman though, she erupts fire on top of the hill. Earthwall does not stop fire. Bush does not stop fire. Many gobbles killed. Mug gave order to prepare to retreat. Prepare this the final surprise. Oh, did I not tell you about the final surprise? We have fire salts. Yes, we do. With that, gobbles begin retreating. Some stay behind to fire arrows, keep them busy. Other ones move away quickly. Meanwhile, General Mug prepare fire salts. Sure enough, Bird Woman flies back to the trees. So that she is not die. Smart. Archer Elf, he is going ziggy-zaggy and appears to blend into the earth. This is not good. General Mug likes fuse. With that, we begin to retreat. Sure enough, General Mug is approaching the woods. We already retreat to the caves. With that, I hear a sound. The horrible sound of that fiery explosion, but it is not mine. No. That one elf, the one who cast a spell earlier, she cast another one. Blows up half of my gobbles. And then, she blows up. And the entire hill blows up with her. Yeah! General Mug got her. Her Archer Elf pretty good too. Don't know what happened to Wolf Woman. Hope I got her. The point is, we are going back to caves now. When we get there, we will plan more ambushes, more traps. But this time, we will have all the advantages. The dark belongs to us. The caves belong to us. They are tight and they are narrow. And we know them better than the elves know their woods. We will bring them deep. We will bring them dark. And they were down there with us. We will kill them.
So, depending on who you talk to, General Mug won that battle, or at least he claims he did. The point is, he sure made things difficult on Agrabah elves. So what did he do? First, he used concealment. Concealment hides your numbers. It hides your forces. It prevents people from being able to target you from a distance. It minimizes the amount of damage you might take. The elves had concealment in the trees, so General Mug got them out of the trees. More importantly, he cut down any brush between him and the elves, something the elves did not notice. Next, General Mug gave himself cover. He purposely chose a hilltop that had bushes on it, so that if the elves shot back, they wouldn't know how many goblins were shooting at them to begin with, and they sure as heck wouldn't know exactly where all of them were. The elves were in the worst position when it came to the issue of concealment. The goblins had all of it, the elves had none of it. Next came the idea of cover. What's cover? Cover is concealment, but it's hard. It's putting something strong and powerful between you and them. So you can hide behind concealment, but you're protected behind cover. Even when the goblins are standing up and only half of them are covered behind those earth walls, they still had some protection. Cover always gives you some protection as long as you're behind it. It's not always a lot of protection, but still more than none. And it's more than the elves had out there in the open. Great. What's the next thing General Mug did? Well, he had to get them out in that field, so he planted an enticement, something to draw the elves in. More importantly, he planted a distraction, something to explain that enticement, in a human camp. At least it looked human, but by the time they figure out it wasn't, it didn't matter, because that's when the arrows were coming in. Because General Mug didn't want them just out of the trees, he wanted them within his bow range. He wanted them so that if him and the elves are shooting at each other, they're both at short range. But the goblins had cover and they had concealment. Finally, 3 last bits. Number 1, General Mug chose to get the elves into a kill zone. Big open field where there was no place for them to run anytime soon. If the elves ran back to the woods, they would still get a few volleys of arrows in their back. They might be able to move out of short range doing it, but they would not be out of range. Number 2, General Mug prioritized targets. General Mug apparently hates wizards, so he prioritized wizards, made sure they died first. So as soon as someone started casting spells, they got targeted. Also got targeted? That familiar. That familiar was prepared to give them information. Probably prepared to do a whole lot of other things too, but it never got a chance because General Mug took that out first. It probably didn't sway the tide of battle, but I guarantee you it scared the heck out of that mage. Finally, General Mug did 3 last things. 1, put lots of defenses between him and the elves. Once the elves tried to close with them, they learned very quickly there were pits and spikes everywhere on those hills. Getting a General Mug was not easy. The only person who had a chance of doing that was the druid who could fly as a bird, and she changed her mind really quickly as she was heavily targeted. Meanwhile, the spellcasters. General Mug knew there was going to be some, and they sure were. The wizard, after losing her familiar, was pretty angry, and she targeted a group of goblins. Got a bunch of them all at once with a spell. That's why General Mug split his people up. He knew that was a possibility. He was prepared to lose a large number of his forces if he had to, in order to keep fighting. Besides, this would be a ranged war. There was no reason to have everybody in one big single group. Keeping them as spread out prevented as much damage to the whole group as possible. Finally, the fire salts. Because if you're a gobbo and you're kind of a jerk yourself, why not leave a big booby trap when you leave? Yeah, General Gob could have put fire salts all over places. He could have put some down in that pit so he could have blown it up from a distance, but he didn't. He could have hid some on the hilltop, but blow up random parts of the hill, but he didn't do that either. Why? Because he knew once the gob was closed, they would eventually get to top that hill. General Mug knew that the fire salts were a nice goodbye gift, a nice present, because General Mug knew he may not get off that hill. By putting those fire salts up there, if things got really bad, if General Mug was trapped, if they were going to get him, General Mug could at least draw 1 or 2 of those heroes in and light off the fire salts. And that is the basics of a good ambush. When you do an ambush, you choose the place and time. And by doing that, you want to minimize the advantages your opponents have and maximize your own advantages. You want to cut off their access. You want to cut off their passive egress. You want to make sure they have no cover and no way to get away. The point is, when you create an ambush, you're looking to trap the targets. You're looking to draw them in, get their attention focused to one place while you're in some place entirely different, and then attack all at once. By the time they realize they're being attacked, they may be down half their people, and people might already be panicking. Unfortunately, General Mug, he fought a group of trained adventurers. They didn't panic, well, not all of them. But in the end, they eventually drove the goblins off. And for that, they managed to kill maybe half the goblins, but they lost 2 of their own. Considering it was just a bunch of basic goblins, and they were a bunch of highly trained adventurers, the question is, who won that fight? Ask the players, they still don't know. And that's how you can use tactics as a false multiplier. And here's the thing, everything we just showed you, everything General Mug just did, was done when General Mug didn't have the advantage. General Mug was fighting out in the open and he was fighting in the day. More importantly, he was fighting elves who had many advantages. They could move faster than the goblins, they could hide in the trees, they had spells and powers. And more importantly, they were all much stronger physically than the goblins. Fighting the elves outright was not going to work for General Mug, which is why he used large numbers and he hit them as quickly and hard as he could and then ran. He knew he was causing trouble, he just wasn't doing it in the woods. Close enough. And we'll hear from General Mug again. This time it's going to be in the dark, where he has all the advantages. So you think this was bad? Wait to see what happens when the elves get down to the goblin caves. With that, we're done for now. If you think you had a way to get around these goblins or you could take care of them, let us know that. You probably did. If you think that this was brutal, I'm a bad man for doing this, you're probably right. And if you think that you have a even better ambush or a better tactic, let us know about that too. Because hey, there's a lot of people watching these videos and a lot of people reading these comments. If you got a really good idea on how to surprise and ambush the players, let us know that. There are a lot of dirty tricks, a lot of tactics that can be used in order to basically to maximize the force. Something as simple as a group of goblins. With that, good luck and good gaming.